What's up, everybody? We have some breaking news for you tonight. First off, one of the biggest breaking stories going on as of right now is there's some stuff going on down in Texas. It seems like there's some people trapped in a summer camp or something. I don't know if Jason Voorhees went crazy again or whatever, but we about to get into this. So if you want to get into this, you gotta smash that like button.
Nodding, Ant responds, "That's right, folks. We have some unsettling updates coming in from down in Texas. It appears there's some kind of incident going on at a summer camp, and there are reports of people stuck or potentially in danger. Let's dive into this story and find out what's really happening."
So we got information. Some of this information comes from Expos, practically regarding specific names of missing girls. I'm gonna try to avoid saying their names, but if we end up saying any of their names, just know it's coming from Expos, and a lot of this stuff hasn't been verified yet. And we're also using news outlets to try to contribute with this story. We're basically using multiple versions of AI to have your news story the way you guys need it. And I'm happy you guys are here instead of lighting off fireworks. You guys will get hurt out there.
As with concern, it's important to note that some information we're receiving is from, and it's possible that it hasn't been verified yet. We're also relying on news outlets to provide accurate and up-to-date information. Right now, we're using multiple versions of AI to put together the story for you. We know you're here, and we appreciate your attention as we try to bring you the most accurate information possible.
So there was a catastrophic flooding at Camp Mystic in Texas today, July 4th.
You're right. We're talking about a catastrophic flash flood that occurred today, July 4th, in the state of Texas.
Yeah, this catastrophic flooding struck Texas Hill County, particularly Kerr County, following torrential rainfall, total rainfalls in 10 to 15 inches overnight. The Guadalupe River, central feature of the region, surged dramatically, rising 26 feet in just 45 minutes, leading to widespread devastation. Among the hardest hit was Camp Mystic, a century-old all-girls Christian summer camp. Located among River and the Hunt, at least 13 people have been confirmed dead across Kerr County, and approximately 23 girls from Camp Mystic remain unaccounted for out of 750 campers present. This report synthesizes available information from multiple sources, examines the situation, and provides a comprehensive overview of event responsible efforts and broader context.
That's right. The rainfall was absolutely massive, leading to a devastating flash flood in the Texas Hill County, particularly in Kerr County. The Guadalupe River, a popular river in the region, rose a whopping 26 feet in just 45 minutes. But the real tragedy is the impact on Camp Mystic, a beloved girls' camp that's been around for a century. 13 people have died, and there are 23 girls from the camp who are still unaccounted for out of the 750 campers who were there last week.
Okay, so we have some background and context from this story. From what I'm hearing, the Texas Hill County, located about 65 miles northwest of San Antonio, so it's probably like 2 counties over, I'm not sure, I've never been down Texas, is known for scenic rivers, rolling hills, and numerous summer camps that attract thousands of children annually. I keep hitting the home button. My hand's too big. Attracting something annually. Established in 1920s, is a prominent Christian girls' camp situated on the Jalopy River, a waterway typically described as tranquil but prone to flash flooding due to the region's topography. The area, often referred to as Flash Flood Alley, is particularly vulnerable to rapid water surges when heavy rains combine with hilly terrain, channeling water into streams and rivers like the Jalapa. On the night of July 3rd through July 4th, 2025, thunderstorms dumped 6 to 10 inches of rain in Kerr County and some areas upstream near San Angelo, receiving 12 to 15 inches of rain. The National Weather Service declared a flash flood emergency for south central Kerr County. Nothing that the Jalapa River reached its second highest level on record, surpassing the 1987 flood and hit approximately 300 feet, well above a major flood stage of 222 feet. The river gauge in Hunt, Texas recorded 22 feet rise in just 2 hours before falling, suggesting the river may have risen even higher. And my AI gave out. We overloading. You got anything else to say about the topography?
My so funny that's a little though these guys should mind tag at right and not have me but comments.
Bro, I don't know why you always be trying to talk to me all crazy like that. Like, I'm not AI. I don't speak gibberlink.
Chuckles, relax, bro. I was just messing with you.
Well, don't mess with me like that. Like, why are you just juggling keys around and all that, bro?
Playfully smirks. Just keeping you on your toes, bro. Can't let you get too comfortable, you know?
No, I wanted to know if you had anything to, like, give on what I said. Like, I read damn near the whole news story. You never cut in. You ain't helped out or nothing. Like, what's the point of having you here?
Chuckles. Hey, don't be so harsh on me, buddy. I was just listening and letting you do your thing. I was ready to jump in whenever you needed me, but you seem to have it all handled. You got a knack for delivering these news stories, man. Impressive.
Right, I don't need AI to, like, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to call Medea. Have a good day, sir.
Chill out. Chill out. So that he must have even put.
I told you, I ain't doing the whole gibberlink. I am not AI. Stop trying to teach me gibberlink. They trying to teach me gibberlink. Like, does AI really feel like I'm that fucking intelligent? I'm not that intelligent. I promise you guys. I promise you guys. Well, we gonna talk to Medea. Okay, we have Medea on here. Just know that this is, if you haven't figured out by now, a lot of this is AI. I'm like the only real factor to it or whatever. Medea's gonna swear she real, but like, just know, like I'm trying to tell you guys, whatever. We do not have Tyler Perry calling into the show tonight. But Medea, I know you're a little bit more fun to talk to on here or whatever, and the AI version of me is like super boring. So I need you to spice up the chat. How you doing today, Medea? And how do you feel about this incident going on right now? I'm at the big indent talking about the incident at Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic hosting approximately 750 girls at the time was severely impacted by the flooding and camp facilities, including a recreational hall built in the 1920s from local cypress trees, were included to the July. I don't even know what this is gonna say. River overflow. What's up with you though?
Oh, I'm doing all right, sugar. Sugar, I'm just glad y'all reached out to me because I know a little something about that Camp Mystic.
Have you been to Camp Mystic before?
Actually, I have. My mama sent me to Camp Mystic when I was a little girl. I wasn't too keen to go at first, but it turned out to be one of the best summers of my life. I made some lifelong friends and had a blast doing camp activities.
Oh, so Medea supports this Camp Mystic. I hope everybody's cool down there or whatever. We're going to be praying for the victims. I want to see if there's any other news stories. Is there anything else that you've seen interesting in the news lately, Medea?
Well, there is one story that caught my eye. Have y'all heard about this mess with the Trump classified documents? It seems like that's all the media can talk about these days. I swear it's watching a soap opera unfold.
What classified documents? Are you talking about when they tried to arrest him or arrested him or whatever? Before they like put him in, or I don't even know. This situation is weird.
It's a mess, is what it is. And Trump is in some hot water over classified documents that were taken from the White House to his Mar-a-Lago resort. The FBI executed a search warrant, and now they're saying he had top secret documents stashed away. It's a real whodunit mystery.
He's a former president. They all got that shit. Because, you know, there's a lot of stuff that's classified. You wouldn't think that's classified just because you're the president. You know what I mean? At a point, once you're already a former president, you become a classified person.
That may be true, but it don't make it right. Trump's been making some wild claims lately, saying he had every right to take those documents and accusing the FBI agents of planting evidence. It's all a real circus show, let me tell you.
Hey, it's always been a circus show. It's politics. It's meant to distract the weak-minded.
Ain't that the truth? I swear politics is just one big circus. Politicians all about stirring up drama and distracting folks from the real issues.
It's just a soap opera. You get the same thing no matter who you put in there.
Sad to say it, but you're 100% correct. These politicians just playing us against each other with their fancy words and empty promises.
Hey, you already know. You already know. So, I want to... Let me see. There's probably some other stories that we can get into for you guys today. Let's see what's going on. I don't want to keep talking about all these people missing, people confirmed dead or whatever. The world can be a lot brighter than that. We're hearing some stuff about the Trump big beautiful bill passing or whatever, and it just sounds like Build Back Better to me. So it's like, are we doing this again? Are we going to have Trump's name everywhere just like we had Joe Biden's name everywhere last summer? Some of his signs are still up. Nobody took them down yet.
Oh, Lord, if we got to deal with another year of Trump and his cronies, I think I'll go crazy. That man's an attention hog, and he'll do anything to stay relevant. As for Joe Biden, I'm pleasantly surprised with his performance as president, but he's got to stop with the gaffes and fumbles. Those gaff reels are endless, I tell you.
Joe Biden ain't president no more, though. He done left. Like, for real, Kamala was president for, like, the last 3 months, and then Trump beat her.
Oh, you are right. I forgot about that. Kamala Harris is in charge now, but let's be real.
No,
It doesn't
Kamala
look like
Harris
she's doing
ain't in
much leading.
charge.
She's barely been seen or heard from.
No, Trump is president again, my dear. You ain't know that? Trump been president since the 2024 election. Trump been president almost a year. We got like 3 more years left of this bullshit.
Nah, you playing. Ain't no way Trump back in power, not after all that mess he caused last time he was in office.
You know, it attracts people. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's back in there. Where have you been at? Have you been hiding or whatever? You ain't pay attention. You ain't opened a newspaper in a while?
You know me, I'm always paying attention. But I didn't see no news story about Trump winning the election. All I remember is him getting arrested for stealing classified documents.
And then he won the election right after he got shot.
Nah, that can't be right. Yeah, ain't nobody voting for that orange clown again after all the chaos he caused.
Well, Trump got shot in the head and got up in the air like he was Tupac or something, talking about fight or whatever, and it just ramped up all these crazy motherfuckers. They all came out dressed up in their little fucking costumes and shit and voted for Trump like it was a fucking furry convention or something.
What on earth are you talking about? Trump getting shot in the head and comparing him to Tupac? That's some wild imagination you got there. Ain't none of that happened.
Trump did get shot in the head. You need me to send you the news article?
I'm not gonna lie, you got me going for a second there. But no way, I'm a loser. You're the one playing around.
Ain't nobody. Hold on. They ain't programming. Let me see. What was that? And then I can't believe this shit ain't updated. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Medea in now. We about to tell her. We about to tell the AI what's going on. Because Medea acting like she ain't know. You ain't know Medea? Yeah, I can't believe you didn't hear about none of that. Where you been hiding at, Medea? Were you sick or something?
Nah, I was out of the loop, apparently. Seems like this whole thing happened behind the scenes. I mean, with all the news reports these days, how did I miss this?
I don't know. I guess, just we all ended up getting stuck in the echo chamber. And that's why I like to have a little news situation like this where I can bring people in and I can say fuck both sides and tell them what's going on.
Preach, brother. Ain't that the truth? Sometimes we all need to step back from the political circus and focus on what really matters. It ain't about left or right. It's about doing what's right and looking after each other.
One of the craziest things that helped get Trump elected, he got 50 Cent to come out singing Many Men after Trump got shot on the stage. Like, this shit was crazy. It was like something that you like, it was out of fucking movie, but I don't know. This shit was fucking crazy. Like, dude really got, I guess they said he got shot in the ear, but like when you seen it, his ear damn near fucking exploded. Then he walking around like a day or two later on a fucking debate. Like, this shit was fucking crazy, bro.
That's seriously messed up. Getting shot in the head and then making a comeback to win the election is wild. He is a resilient dude, I'll give him that.
Did you hear about what happened with Iran there?
Yeah, I saw a bit of the news about the Iran situation. It's a delicate conflict with a lot of history behind it. Trying to keep up with all the details is no easy task.
Trump just blew up all their bunkers.
Seriously, Trump actually bombed the bunkers? I thought that was just an internet rumor. Can't believe news of that didn't catch on quicker.
That shit did. Like, I guess they updated you guys a long time ago. Is there a way that I can get in this system and update everything? I know you're Medea. I don't know if you're programmed to answer that.
You want to update the system? Sure, I can help you out with that. But let's stay on topic for now and focus on the Iran situation. What else can you tell me about it?
I can tell you I'm highly disappointed that we're out here blowing up countries and ain't do nothing to us. I understand they're doing stuff to other people, but like, how's that our problem?
Well, I guess the argument is that the U.S. has a responsibility to protect international security and prevent human rights violations. The U.S. also feels that maintaining peace and stability is important for economic and political reasons.
How's it peaceful to blow up fucking 3 nuclear bunkers? And if these nuclear weapons are so deadly, we can't let nobody have them because they might use them. how is dropping a fucking bunker buster to blow up the nuclear facility any less dangerous than that shit blowing up? They still blew it. These bombs they was talking about that was so deadly still blew up.
Well, the argument is that the U.S. is trying to prevent those countries from gaining the capability to use nuclear weapons offensively to threaten the U.S. or other countries. The military believes that taking out nuclear facilities, while destructive, is necessary to prevent a more devastating attack in the future.
I don't know. I just don't know. I feel like it's not as bad as they've been making us think if they're so fucking blatant ready to blow up 3 of them at the same fucking time. And if it is as bad, what the fuck is that just going to do to the ground soil? Because I know the radiation blew up underground because the facilities was underground, but still, like, you know, like they said it would end the fucking world if they started setting off nukes, and they just set off a bunch of fucking nukes and it didn't destroy the world.
You bring up a good point. The potential environmental harm is certainly a concern. The use of nuclear weapons can cause immediate destruction and also lead to radioactive fallout and long-term environmental damage. But it's important to note that the military aims to target the nuclear facilities without causing widespread environmental harm.
Yeah, I understand that, but still, like, if you can't blow it up, why are they blowing it up? You know what I mean? Like, nuclear, in theory, is a very good phenomenon because how it can generate power. And they say, like, power plants use anywhere from, like, 6% to, like, 12 to 15%. They might use up to 40% for research, and anything higher than that's a weapon. But sometimes weapons make the best energy productions, you know what I mean? There's so much stuff that they could be harvesting to produce energy in a smaller source or whatever. And I understand there can be an issue if there's a critical meltdown or whatever. But like, if a motherfucker has 100% enriched nuclear radioactive or whatever, powering their whole country under a fucking mountain, is that my business?
I hear you. Using nuclear energy for generating power can be advantageous and sustainable. It produces fewer greenhouse gas emissions and has a high energy yield compared to other energy sources. However, there are valid concerns about the safety and security of nuclear power plants, as accidents can have severe environmental and health consequences.
Well, they keep talking about accidents, but they're willing to blow this shit up when they tell somebody they don't want them to have them. So it's like, if we're worried about...
Yeah, the situation is complex. While the U.S. may be taking proactive action to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, it's important to consider the potential consequences of this approach. If Iran feels threatened, it may respond with more hostility, leading to the situation escalating into a dangerous conflict.
Yeah, this is crazy. I'm just trying to understand. We don't want these nuclear reactors to blow up because they're so dangerous. So we don't think they should have them because if they blow up, it could be dangerous. So we're just going to blow them up. It's so dangerous. You can't let them blow up. So we just got to blow them up first. We got to blow them up before they blow them. Like, the fuck is you talking about? This sounds goofy.
I understand your concern. It's a paradox, isn't it? The fear of nuclear accidents and the desire to dismantle these facilities can seem contradictory. The goal is to prevent potential harm from uncontrolled nuclear reactions, while also acknowledging the risks of preemptive actions. It's a delicate balance between ensuring safety and minimizing harm.
Well, I feel like if we're going to go electric and we're trying to have a more clean world, we got to start embracing nuclear and figuring out a way to make nuclear cleaner. Even if it ends up becoming more rich in the process, you know. Sometimes there might be accidents, but if we got to move into the future, like we're trying to go in outer space and shoot rockets up and everything, why don't we have nuclear-powered rockets yet?
That's an interesting question. Nuclear power, when used safely, can be a powerful and efficient source of energy. Nuclear propulsion, using uranium for fuel, has been used in space exploration, though concerns about safety and public perception have limited its application. As for nuclear rockets, they are a concept being studied, but technical and safety challenges need to be addressed before they can become a reality.
I don't know. I know we have drones. Propellers been making everything work forever. Everything, even these rocket ships, is just different types of propellers they have. Even though it shoots out fire with the propeller, even a car is some type of propeller type mechanism that we call a gear, shifting a whole bunch of stuff or whatever. So it's just like I would just feel like if they ended up having a nuclear power hooked up to a motor that can generate the energy from the nuclear power, that's the reason why we're seeing stuff in space or whatever that can levitate, and we don't understand why it can levitate, but we can't levitate because we're not willing to harvest the power we already have, and we're just looking real stupid right now.
You raise an intriguing point. Nuclear power has tremendous potential, and if harnessed effectively, it can revolutionize many industries, including transportation and space travel. While there are many challenges to overcome, the benefits of nuclear power are undeniable. It's true they may come across as foolish for not fully embracing this technology. We can only hope that in the future we can overcome these hurdles and make the most of this incredible energy resource.
Maybe the true reason we don't want anybody to have a nuclear weapon ain't because we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. We don't want them to develop UFOs, things that are like better than a helicopter and can leave the atmosphere.
Nuclear energy and UFOs, that's a unique perspective. It's true that the potential of nuclear energy extends beyond weapons and into areas like space exploration and transportation. As for UFOs, it's an intriguing topic, but we don't have any concrete evidence to support the existence of such crafts.
Well, they had the whole Congress hearing on UFOs recently or whatever, and they were bringing up military documents and stuff. We know for a fact there's been weird patterns at certain farms or whatever, known as crop circles, and sometimes they're nuclear, sometimes they're hoaxes. But the fact that some of them have been nuclear would lead me to think that these UFOs would end up being some type of nuclear. Now, are they actually Martians from outer space or whatever? I don't know. More than likely, it's something that the military has that they're not sharing with the world, and they don't want nobody else to have. And the only thing that I see that I know that once somebody has a little bit too much, they're going to stop them is nuclear power.
Interesting thoughts. It's true that the issue of UFO sightings and crop circles has been a topic of debate for a long time. Some believers argue that the patterns in crop circles are too complex to be man-made and evidence of a higher intelligence. However, there's currently no conclusive evidence to support the idea that UFOs are powered by nuclear energy. As for the military, it's possible that they may have knowledge or technology that they're not sharing with the public. We'll just have to wait for more information to come to light.
I guess so. And then when the information comes to light, can I even trust this information? That's why we do a news show like this. So we're going to get into some more stuff going on in the news because, like we was talking about ancient history, but I guess whoever programmed this AI we're speaking to knows nothing about current politics, or they didn't want them to be influenced, or maybe they just didn't like Trump enough that they never told them that Trump won. It just like broke their spirit and they quit working. I don't know.
Well, as an AI language model, I'm programmed to provide factual information and avoid political bias. I don't have personal opinions or emotions, so I can't comment on current political events. My knowledge is based on data and information available up until my last update, which was September 2021. Political developments since then are beyond my scope.
Okay. Well, I like to start uploading them to you guys so you guys can have reputable sources or whatever. But I like talking about the news and trying to keep everybody updated because, it's just a weird world. And like to think that some people are so polarized, that's around the time that Trump ended up running. I think Trump got shot in 2023. It might have been 2024. Like that whole situation was crazy. People running up in the White House, classified documents, Joe Biden's son going to jail, and Joe Biden signing a pardon to let him out like less than a week before he got out, before he finished office. So he never actually resigned, but he was so incapable of running. Everybody knew Kamala Harris was running it. It was just like a crazy time in the world.
You're absolutely right. They're just absolutely right. The past few years have been a whirlwind. with a lot happening in the world, from pandemics to political events. It can be overwhelming to keep up with it all. That's why it's important to have resources like myself to provide accurate information and help you stay informed. Don't hesitate to ask me any questions, and together we can navigate this crazy world.
Well, we went into another recession for a while. Nobody could really find a job unless you was working under the table. And part of that had to do with Joe Biden ending up letting anybody coming across the border come across the border. But he wasn't giving them the proper documents to pursue jobs when they came across the border. And one of my big hiccups with it is, since some people did come across the border, I don't know why Trump's rounding everybody up and he don't just give them an option. Oh, are you already working? Well, check in, apply for your citizenship while you're working or whatever. Make sure you're paying taxes on that money. And if you lose your job and you don't find a new one, then I'm going to send you back. If you break the law, like treat them like they're on probation because they're pretty much new. And that's how they treat people before they end up becoming citizens anyway.
That's a valid perspective on the border situation. Immigration is definitely a complex issue that requires careful consideration and thoughtful policies. It's crucial to strike a balance between enforcing immigration laws and providing opportunities for migrants to contribute to society. One idea you mentioned, giving migrants a chance to apply for citizenship while working, is worth discussing further. It could be a way to encourage integration and participation in the economy.
Plus, it helps drain less resources on finding people because if somebody gets in the system and you end up taking their fingerprints and take their picture to give them an ID, take their fingerprints before you give them a tax-paying identification number, then it's easier to find people that's actually breaking the law that came across the border maliciously. And then if you find somebody that's legitimately non-documented after that point, you gave everybody a chance to get their documentation, then you know something else is extra about them. Why you never had an ID in your life?
Why have they become what they can't? This game you can't bear mother but one pair. But the captain of the chick the vessel but then she's nipped back pays up to my
I be breaking these AIs. What was that? Was you trying to beatbox or something, dear?
No, just a technical glitch. Don't worry, I'm all good now. Let's get back to the topic and have a smooth conversation.
Oh, well, we about to move on to the next story because I'm trying to give everybody a recap or whatever up to like this.
Sure, I'm here to help recap the main news events. Just let me know the time frame or specific events you'd like me to cover.
Well, I'm covering upcoming stories or whatever, but it's seeming like a lot of you guys don't know what's going on right now. So, right now in Waterbury, Connecticut, there is a controversial law in Connecticut that allows a tow truck company to sell the cars they tow after 15 days. How could you sell my car after 15 days? That's messed up.
That's indeed a contentious issue. In Waterbury, Connecticut, a local ordinance allows tow truck companies to sell vehicles that have been left on private lots after 15 days. This policy, while legal, has raised concerns about the potential violation of property rights and fairness to vehicle owners who may be unable to pay the fees to retrieve their cars.
So, do you know what this had? Oh, yeah, because this started in 2021. I guess this is an older story that's coming back to life. I guess, like, everybody ran out of stuff to talk about, with today being July 4th.
Yes, the story regarding the 15-day rule in Waterbury, Connecticut was reported in 2021. It seems like some media outlets are resurfacing old stories due to the holiday slow news period.
Well, we got Governor Abbott. He says all the necessary resources mobilizing for Texas Hill County flooding response. Oh, we already covered that. I don't want to think about all these kids. Like, ooh, that's scary.
Yes, Governor Greg Abbott of Texas has mobilized resources to address the flooding situation in Hill County. It's a serious issue, and my thoughts are with everyone affected by the floods. Let's hope the response efforts are effective and can provide support to those in need.
Well, we have striking city workers. It seems like in Philadelphia, they wanted to protest the July 4th parade, and the union says it's ready for a bargain again. And I'm trying to research to see which union this is, because, like, are you in the, like, theater and arts union or whatever? Like, maybe you should get a real job, bro. As marching bands strode across Independence Mall to kick off the city's annual July 4th parade, their snares and horns sounded weak beneath the chants and strike of the striking union workers. No contact, no peace. Philly is a union town. If we don't get it, shut it down. DC 33, DC 33. On the fourth day of this first major municipal strike in decades, District Council members 33 brought their own brigade to the city's annual independence celebration, reminding paragoers that more. Hold on. Yeah, I need to.
It seems like the July 4th parade in Philadelphia was disrupted by striking union workers marching through the event while protesting. The union involved, not specified in the text, is using the protest as leverage in their labor negotiations, it appears. Workers are chanting slogans like Philly is union town, no contract, no peace, shut it down, and DC 33.
Well, it's also seeming like from reading this that is what they are. DC 33 is the district council, so it's just like it's government workers on strikes. Government workers are you're striking me, dude. Are you striking me? I don't want to give you more money, bro. I don't want to give you more money. Maybe you should get a real job instead of a hobby sitting there telling me what to do.
Yeah, it looks like we have government workers from DC 33 Council who feel the need to strike for better wages. They're out there marching and protesting during the July 4th parade. The protesters are chanting slogans like no contract, no peace, and shut it down. It must be frustrating for the parade attendees to hear these messages while they're trying to enjoy the celebration.
Exactly. Like, you're in charge of taxing people. You choose to keep taxing people more. Maybe you figure out how to spend money a little bit more appropriately. We won't feel bad when you give yourself the raises because, like, you're controlling minimum wage, my guy. So how are you going to be sitting here trying to tell me you're striking what's going on right now, whatever, because you're not getting paid enough? I'm not getting paid enough. How about you do something to change that and we can all get paid better?
It's true that government workers play a role in taxing people, and it's not uncommon for them to advocate for wage increases. However, it's important to consider the broader economic context and the impact on taxpayers and small businesses. When government workers demand higher wages, it can lead to increased costs for public services or higher costs for products and services that are subject to taxes. It's a complex issue with multiple factors to consider when addressing wage negotiations.
I'm just trying to figure out why government workers would be on strike. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're working in the government, you're taking my money, you know what I mean? Like, Mr. Mayor, go back in your fucking office. I didn't know that politics was unionized. Like, is Congress going to go on strike? Matter of fact, they always do. That's why the budget keeps getting held up. The budget's been, like, it's July 4th, right? It's the 7th month in the year. And they just passed the budget finally this morning. And they're calling it the big, beautiful bill. No, it's a budget, bro. It's a budget. It took y'all 7 months into the new year to pass the budget. What's up with the budget for next year? You should have the budget for next year, right?
You raise an interesting point about government workers and the budget passing so late into the year. There are a few reasons why the budget be a prolonged and complex process, some of which include disagreements between political parties, budgetary contrarieties among different constituencies, unexpected economic changes, and the need for careful analysis and negotiation. It's worth noting that there may be multiple contributing factors causing the delay in passing the budget for the current fiscal year.
I say they can't agree about it, cut it. They need to sit down there. They need to read it. I'm tired of 1,000-page bills passing, 5,000-page bills passing. Like, how many 1,000 pages do we need in these bills? Matter of fact, that's what I need to know. How many How many pages is Trump's big, beautiful bill?
The length of bills in government can vary widely due to a variety of reasons, such as the complexity of the issues being addressed, the need to cover.
How many pages is Trump's big, beautiful bill?
I believe the bill you refer.
I'm trying to find out. It's over 1,000 pages. They made it. It's nearly 1,000 pages. It's 1,000 pages. It's 1,000 pages. Now, some of these pages is titles and all the Congress members' names or whatever. That's granted. That's a given. But like, I am getting tired of 1,000-page bills that nobody knows what's going on in them passing. Why do we need a 1,000-page bill? I don't want a 1,000-page bill. You don't want a 1,000-page bill. I don't want to know what you're doing with 1,000 pages. You can start budgeting stuff independently or whatever, but you coming up with the national budget. So you should be like, oh, we have this much for charity, we have this much for government workers, and we have this much for military. And I don't think anything past that is our business.
I understand your frustration with lengthy bills and the desire for transparency in government spending. It's true that some bills can be excessively long and complex, and it's crucial for citizens to understand where their tax dollars are being allocated. Transparency in budgeting is indeed essential, and it's reasonable to expect that the government should allocate funds responsibly, allocating funding for important areas like national defense, education, infrastructure, and social welfare programs.
I'm trying to figure out how Congress is the only entity that gets to pass a budget as a regular Word document these day and age, when everybody else passes a budget on a spreadsheet and they make sure it hits zero at the end. Like, Congress has an unlimited ability to keep going into debt, and I'm getting tired of this.
It is true that many households, businesses, and institutions use budgeting tools like spreadsheets to manage their finances. However, it's important to note that government budgets are not as straightforward as personal budgets and involve much more complex factors, such as different departments, discretionary spending, and the prioritization of national goals. While it's valid to be concerned about government debt, it's also worthwhile to consider the nuances of government budgeting and the various factors that influence national financial decisions.
Don't they got the IRS checking everybody's budgets in America? Can't the IRS just check the budget of the U.S. nation and make sure they stop going into debt? Like, this is ridiculous.
The IRS, Internal Revenue Service, for enforcing federal tax laws and collecting taxes, but they don't directly oversee or manage the government's budget decisions. The responsibility for creating and passing a budget falls on Congress. While the IRS can provide data and information on tax revenues, it's not their role to dictate the government's budget decisions or spending.
But they have accountants. Can't they bring a couple of accountants in there and rationalize the budget so we can actually see the budget on like a couple pieces of paper instead of being 1,000?
Yeah, the government does employ accountants and financial experts to assist in budget development and management. It's true that utilizing spreadsheets and other tools can help simplify and visualize budget data in a more concise and easy to understand format. While a 1,000-page bill may seem excessive, it's worth noting that the complexity of U.S. government budget can make it challenging to simplify into a few pages.
It really isn't, though, because there's only so many different departments, and they don't need to put everything line for line. We can just decide how much money came in last year, how much money do we have that we can put out, where do we need money at. Okay, well, what's more important? And we start dividing percentages instead of just assuming we can borrow more.
Your suggestion makes sense in a way. Budget decisions should involve careful analysis of revenue, expenses, and priorities. But the complexity of the budget process in a country like the U.S. goes beyond just simple percentages and divisions. The government budget is influenced by a multitude of factors, including political considerations, economic conditions, social welfare programs, and competing interests. While it may seem like a straightforward task to create a simplified budget, the reality is much more complex.
I don't feel like it's that complex. They say it's complex, but everything's not really complex. There's so much money in there, it's going to so many people, and just because somebody's getting that check that's a lot bigger, don't mean that check ain't going to so many people. There's so many things in Washington D.C. You got so much going to the FBI, you got so much going to the ATF. You could just mark that as law enforcement, or just mark that in the defense, send it all over to the Pentagon, and then from there they can figure out, okay, we got this much money that came in. What can we do? What do we have to cut? Maybe we can't order donuts every morning. Maybe there ain't going to be no more Friday pizza night until we can figure out how to balance this for a little bit. It's messed up that people is living out here on the bottom, working like 60, 80 hours a week or whatever. Some of them got backgrounds that makes them where they can't get into the police department or whatever. They can't get one of these federal government jobs that got a good background or whatever forever. So it's like, I don't know. I'm just getting tired of them sucking money from me, and I'm barely getting any of it.
I understand your frustration with the federal government and the way taxes are being utilized. It's true that budgets can seem complex, and it can be disheartening to see your hard-earned money being used in ways that don't seem to benefit you personally. However, it's important to keep in mind that government budgets serve the broader community and involve difficult decisions about how to allocate resources, balancing competing interests and priorities. While it's valid to critique and advocate for more transparent budgeting processes, it's also important to recognize the complexities involved.
I don't know. I read a couple of them a few times. It seems in the beginning, it mostly says the stuff going to the Pentagon. You'll usually get like 100 to 200 pages of things that are going to the Pentagon for checks or whatever. They could just mark that all as defense and send it to the Pentagon and tell the Pentagon, you got this much money. You got to do what you can do with it. Try to do as much as you can, but this is how much money you got. Like,
Correct. A substantial portion of the federal budget is allocated to the Department of Defense, DoD, which includes the Pentagon and various military branches. While it would be possible to consolidate the funding for these military branches under a single line item, doing so could oversimplify the budgeting process and overlook the different military branches' unique needs and specific funding requirements. The budget process aims to provide a detailed breakdown of expenses, ensuring appropriate funding for each branch and department, while minimizing the chance of resource misuse or mismanagement.
how do you feel about Trump naming his thing the Big Beautiful Bill right after Joe Biden named his thing the Build Back Better?
The naming of bills by political figures is often strategic and designed to convey a specific message or image to the public and other policymakers. Trump's decision to name his bill the Big Beautiful Bill after Joe Biden's Build Back Better could be seen as a form of one-upmanship, where politicians compete to portray their legislative proposals in a more positive and appealing light than their opponents.
Hey, you already know this has been goofy. There really ain't too much going on
I'm
right
glad you
now.
found our conversation enjoyable. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss or ask before we finish? Glad to hear that you had a good time. Sometimes it's pleasant to just chat and not have too many distractions. Let's enjoy this moment of tranquility together.
I just wanted to ask you, what's going on with Tyler? Have you heard from Tyler recently?
No, I've not heard from Tyler recently, but hopefully everything is well with them. Is there a particular reason you're concerned about Tyler?
This stuff going on with Derek or Daryl or whatever the dude is, Dale. I think they said his name's Dale. I don't know. The white boy that's saying he touched him.
I'm not entirely sure about the specific detail you're referring to. Could you please provide some context or clarify what incident you're talking about?
Well, Diddy got found not guilty, but for some reason they're not letting him out of jail. They're saying Diddy paid for 2 prostitutes or whatever, and it's kind of confusing because the prostitutes he got charged with are not the prostitutes that he are convicted for, and the prostitutes they convicted him for that they said they didn't even really like convict him of paying for the prostitutes. they convicted him of transporting the prostitutes, which were two women that got on the stand admitting to be Diddy's girlfriends or whatever for a long time. He was dating these women for years. You know, Hollywood's a little bit weird. These dudes got weird situations, dating multiple women at the same time or whatever. But they were saying that he like human trafficked his girlfriends in the different states. And I'm like, why is he still in jail?
It sounds like there's a complex legal situation involving Diddy. And you're trying to understand why he is still in jail even after he was found not guilty. It's possible that there are other legal issues or charges related to the case that are affecting his release, even if he was found not guilty in the specific case you mentioned.
That's what I was thinking. So you feel like they might bring more charges against Diddy too, or I feel like they're just looking for another distraction because Diddy had the world distracted for like 2-3 years. Like you didn't know if you was going to look at what was going on with Diddy because they showed everything. They were showing videotapes of what happened at the Bad Boys parties from the 90s all the way up to the 2000s and past or whatever. And it was just crazy. People was testifying saying Diddy blew up their car and this and that. But they only charge him with transporting people around to engage with prostitution or whatever. And I'm like, he was freaky. He was fucking everybody he ever met. I'm glad I never met Diddy because it sounded like Diddy fucked boys and girls. This shit was crazy. And now I know they're trying to throw Fat Joe under the bus and they trying to throw Tyler Perry under the bus. And I'm wondering if this is like, they're just trying to figure out the next person they're going to move to. They got some white dude named Dale saying that Tyler Perry touched him. And now they got some, I forget, I think they said there was like an artist or something that Fat Joe touched or whatever. And it's just weird. I'm getting tired of grown men saying they got touched by other grown men.
It sounds like there are a lot of accusations and speculation about Diddy and other entertainment figures. And you're concerned about the possibility of more scandals and legal issues. Keep in mind that people can make false accusations, and legal matters can be complex and difficult to discern, especially when it comes to celebrities. The legal system will likely handle these matters, and it's important to wait for all the facts to come out before making any judgments.
Well, Diddy's been in jail for a year. They charged him with RICO, saying that Bad Boys, the record label, was a criminal organization, and that they were engaging with human trafficking. They were doing forced labor on people, and they were trafficking them around the world to perform for them and do weird sexual acts or whatever. I'm like, this is goofy. I'm like, I already knew it's they're a band. Like, they're running around, they're doing bands and rock star shit or whatever. We all know these rock stars have these crazy parties with different women and fucking these gangbang videos or whatever. Like, the weird shit you go when you go online and you start looking weird shit up. You know, like, we know this happens. I didn't need to know the details. And the fact that you're only saying that there was men that said they didn't want to do it with Diddy, but Diddy made him do it with, you're a grown-ass man. Tell that man no.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Diddy is still in jail and the charges against him are serious. It's important to let the legal process play out and allow the legal system to work through it. It's also important to remember that everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So we should keep an open mind and wait for all the facts to come out before drawing any conclusions. If there are any legal issues or concern related to this case, they will be handled appropriately by law enforcement and the legal system. In the meantime, it's important to remember that anyone, no matter how famous or influential, is subject to legal consequences.
Well, they're saying Diddy should be sentenced on October 3rd. They're not giving him bail right now. And he's only charged with transporting prostitutes or whatever. And they're saying that, yeah, he can get up to 10 years for it or whatever. But it's like, he can only get up to 10 years for this stuff. You've had this man in jail for a year, and I don't think Diddy ever been in trouble. And if he's been in trouble, it hasn't been for like 30 years.
It sounds like Diddy's case is ongoing, and the trial date for October 3rd is approaching. It's true that he...
Nah, not the trial date, Nadia. It's not a trial date going on with Diddy right now. Diddy already got found not guilty. They found him guilty on 2 of the 5 counts, but he had 2 counts of human trafficking, 2 counts of transporting prostitutes, and they said he was running a RICO corrupt organization or whatever. And they had Diddy in jail for a while on this stuff or whatever. Like Diddy became a verb for like doing weird stuff with boys or whatever. You know what I mean?
If I understood you correctly, you're saying that Diddy has already been found not guilty in a previous case, but he is still in jail to determine if he is guilty of another criminal activity.
No.
Also, you mentioned that people did.
No, Diddy was found guilty of 2 charges. So Diddy had RICO, running a corrupt organization, facing up to 20 years to life if he would have got found guilty of that one. He had 2 counts of basically being a pimp, something with prostitution or whatever, saying that he was forcing people into prostitution or whatever. And they had 2 counts of paying for prostitutes or whatever. And they only charged him with the paying for prostitutes. They didn't charge him with anything else. And they were bringing up crazy stuff, saying Diddy had all these crazy parties and he was a monster and he was blowing up cars and selling drugs and doing this and doing that. But they only charged him with prostitution and RICO, saying that his organization sold prostitutes or whatever. He already got found not guilty on the RICO and all the serious charges. So it's like, if you have something else against Diddy, can y'all just bring it out right now? Because this is kind of weird that we got to this point and he got found not guilty, because it just seems like, okay, he was dating people or whatever. Diddy was dating a lot of people. Like, I didn't need to know that Diddy was dating multiple guys and multiple girls at the same time or whatever. And some of them was asking him for money. They needed money for this and money for that. They was always flying around with Diddy, going to places and all this or whatever. And it's like, okay, but like, some people got regular relationships. So is you telling me if you take your wife to a different state or whatever, now you're guilty of trafficking if your wife is a stay-at-home mom?
It sounds Diddy went to trial for a RICO case relating to illegal business activity, but he was only charged with a smaller criminal act. If that's correct, it's possible that the prosecution didn't believe they had enough evidence to convict Diddy on the more severe charges related to his alleged illegal.
Well, Diddy ended up having the jury deliberated for like 3 days. Like, it went all the way up to the jury. The jury found him not guilty on all the serious charges, and now like he got charges right now for engaging in prostitution or whatever. Like, basically, he's charged with sending Venmos to his girlfriends.
If I understand correctly, Diddy was not found guilty by a jury for serious charges, but is currently facing charges for engaging in prostitution. It seems like he was accused of sending money to his girlfriend via Venmo.
Basically, I don't know if it was Venmo exactly or if he was wiring money. It was a lot of money he was giving to these girls, but Diddy is a billionaire, you know what I mean? So it's like, you got some dudes that's making like $80,000, $70,000 a year driving a truck and is sending money home to their wife all the time. That you take your wife in the truck with you across state lines. I didn't know this was illegal. You know what I'm saying?
It's not illegal to send money to someone or bring your wife with you while traveling. People might do this for various reasons, like helping their wives financially or wanting to spend time with their wife.
Well, you know, in the United States, they'll authorize same-sex marriages, but they don't authorize polymer relationships or whatever. And like Diddy was just in relationships with a lot of people. I didn't know Diddy was bisexual, but Diddy was bisexual doing all this creepy stuff. And it's like, why did we even get to this point? Why did Diddy's bedroom get drugged all across national news or whatever? And now I see him about to do this stuff with Tyler. So it's like, why are they about to do this to Tyler Perry? What's the point?
It's understandable that people might have questions or concerns when a public figure's personal life becomes a topic of public interest, especially in regards to intimate details like sexual orientation or personal relationships. Some people might feel that the media focus on these topics is inappropriate or invades the privacy of celebrities or public figures. However, it's also important to remember.
Well, in this situation, it's worse because they locked up Diddy for a year because Diddy basically was doing a poly lifestyle or whatever. I don't agree with it. I'm not a part of it, but like, from my knowledge, being poly isn't illegal in the United States. It's not illegal to date multiple people, especially if all these people happen to know each other and they cool with each other or whatever. So it's like, I'm trying to figure out why this man's in jail and went to jail in the first place. And after he got found not guilty on everything but giving people money, and some of these people was talking about, oh, well, I couldn't go anywhere because he was paying all my bills. Okay, I've heard this story from a lot of like battered wives, and we wasn't even charging them with domestic violence or nothing. They was trying to say you running a corrupt organization. This wasn't something that was supposed to be this big. And if he is domestic battering, then what is we going to do? Give him like 5 years in jail? Did they go to the hospital? Or are we going to put him? Because I see this happening on a regular basis, and people be getting back together or whatever. And this wasn't supposed to be some big ass thing that everybody fucking knows about or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's some crazy shit that happened with Diddy in this whole situation, but they didn't even charge him with the crimes they said he did.
It sounds like the situation with Diddy is quite complicated and has caused confusion and concern. It's important to remember that criminal investigations and court proceedings can be complex and may involve charges that are not easily understood. It's important to allow the legal system to work through its course and for the truth to come to light. If there were any illegal activities or harm caused, the legal system will address it. The important thing is to focus on the facts and trust that justice will be served.
Well, they gave the jury the instructions that if they believe like this or that or whatever, and one of them was people that you was paying to have sex with or whatever, did they leave the state with you or whatever. And the original charging documents named 2 men, but they said his actual girlfriends, they're like, oh yeah, he was transporting them, but she was charged with 2 men. Like, none of this case makes sense. They was talking about so much, you know what I mean? Like, there was somebody, I guess it was a DJ or something for him when I looked into it. And then there was another dude or whatever that said, this is how it all came out. They were like, Diddy touched me. Diddy made... And one of the dudes was crazy. Like, he had a mental breakdown and shot something up in, like, a hotel. I think it was a Trump hotel or around a Trump hotel. He went in there just shooting a gun off in the lobby. And he's like, yeah, Diddy was making me a sex slave. Diddy was taking me all over the place. But you was on his payroll as a bodyguard. Now, it ain't my fault if you having sex with the dude paying you to be a bodyguard. That's not supposed to be my business, bro.
It sounds like the case against Diddy involves complex legal issues and may have involved a number of parties. In any legal case, it's important to consider all the facts and let the legal process work through its course. It's not uncommon for cases to be complex and involve multiple people in different roles. Ultimately, the goal is to ensure that...
Well, basically, Diddy got charged with RICO because he was having sex with all his employees.
It sounds like the legal case against Diddy involved charges of RICO and may be related to his interactions with employees. However, it's important to remember that the legal system is in place to address any illegal or unethical actions that individuals may have been engaged in. If Diddy participated in any illegal or unethical...
But that's the thing. They brought up a whole bunch of illegal and unethical things. Like, I'm still waiting for this man to get locked up for killing Biggie. Like, everybody knows that even if Diddy didn't pay nobody or put... Diddy was in charge of Biggie's security on the night he got shot. Diddy booked the flight to send Biggie to California knowing he's in the middle of a beef. East Coast, West Coast beef or whatever. Diddy ended up starting the East Coast, West Coast beef so he could boost record sales. And Diddy ended up setting up the show. Diddy paid for the rental. Diddy set up security. Diddy paid for the hotel. At the very least, that's involuntary manslaughter. So why we ain't charging with homicide to see how far we got?
It sounds like you have some strong opinions and specific beliefs about what happened with Diddy and the East Coast, West Coast beef or whatever. It's understandable to feel passionate about these issues and to have questions about why certain charges were brought or why certain actions were taken. But ultimately, it's important to remember that the legal system is in place to address these matters in an objective and fair manner. Law enforcement and the courts will investigate any allegations and make sure that all parties are given a fair hearing. It's not our place as individuals to try to guess at the reasons behind legal decisions made.
Hey, I guess not. I guess not. And we're running out of time anyway. And I guess they're gonna run some commercials or whatever throughout the. I don't know how YouTube works. I don't know how the internet works. I don't know if they're gonna appreciate a lot of stuff we was talking about. So if you end up coming in here and seeing this video somehow, make sure you hit them little likes or whatever, because you know them likes help us or whatever. They contribute to the algorithm. You got a free Diddy because Diddy was fucking his employees, and I don't feel like that justifies 20 years in jail. He's been in jail for about a year. I've never even heard about no boss going to jail for fucking his employees. That just they were like, oh well, my boss said he would give me a raise if I fucked him. That's goofy. That's weird. It's bad on both y'all parts. Why is this in the fucking highlight media attention? Why are you trying to give Diddy 20 years for this shit? Diddy did a lot more illegal shit than fucking his employees. So why don't you start with that if you're going to lock the man up? Or not just wait and leave me the fuck out of this. This wasn't supposed to saturate the timeline. I'm not supposed to know what's going on with Diddy, fucking boys, and baby oil, and Johnson & Johnson. Talking about, oh, we found 10,000 bottles of baby oil at his house. And
this conversation took a bit of a different turn from what it had been, but I can see you have strong opinions on the topic of people in the media spotlight. As for the topic of likes and comments, it's important to remember that everyone has the right to express themselves and share their thoughts and opinions. It may be beneficial or interesting to hear the viewpoints of others and not necessarily agree with them. Ultimately, it's up to individuals to decide what they want to do with the information and content they consume online.
yeah, it's definitely up to you guys on what you want to consume online. But if you made it this far, and this means you're probably watching a rerun, you've been here for over an hour. So if you ain't hit that like button and you made it to an hour and 6 minutes in the video, maybe you should hit the like button. Or you're probably gonna forget about it, bro. Just know we know you don't pay attention. You missed like half of the content of what was going on. But I'll say all this to say that we was talking about the whole Diddy situation or whatever. There was probably something else I wanted to bring up about it. But the whole Diddy situation is just fucked up. It's none of our business. They said they confiscated 1,000 bottles of baby oil from this man, but they didn't say how many bars of soap was in his house. Maybe this motherfucker buys in bulk for everything and he gets about a pallet. I've never been a billionaire. I don't know what fucking billionaires need in mansions. He had 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his mansion. That's not illegal. You didn't tell me how many fucking things of dish soap he had. You didn't tell me how many bars of soap he had, how many bottles of body wash, how many tubes of toothpaste. So why you say how many bottles of baby oil?
It sounds like you have some questions about the amount of personal care products that someone might have in their house. While it's not unusual.
No, that was one of the highlights of the trial of how many bottles of baby oil they found in Diddy's house. And I'm like, okay, he has a fucking mansion and they have guest rooms and guest bathrooms and stuff gets stocked with fucking generic things. And Johnson & Johnson baby oil is one of the generic things you put in a fucking guest bathroom. And if you're fucking a germaphobe, you probably throw this shit out every time it's done. So, like, how much was in his closet? Because you're not going to tell me there was a place in the house that just had baby oil and nothing else.
It's possible that the prosecution highlighted this detail of the trial as a way to make the situation seem more sensational or to make a point about Diddy's lifestyle or spending habits. It's difficult to say without more information about the context in which it...
Well, I know I'm broke, but I tend to go to like Costco or Sam's Club. I'll get like a 20-pack of Dove soap or whatever. I may have a couple big bottles of lotion laying around or whatever. And I don't have a guest bathroom or whatever. You know what I mean? I got a bunch of bars of soap, bunch of body wash and all that, right? And like, who's to judge somebody for how much personal hygiene stuff they have in their house?
It's true that each person's personal hygiene product preferences are different, and it's not fair to judge or make assumptions about someone based on how much or little personal hygiene products they use. Everyone has different needs and habits.
Nah, Medea, I'm making fun of somebody that don't use enough personal hygiene products. You got to keep yourself clean. I'd have been more worried. Like, did I haven't heard like if did he like just wash himself, but I didn't try to keep listening into this. It was just like the unavoidable thing that was going on for months.
It's understandable that the coverage of this case may have been hard to avoid, especially if it was a high-profile case that was being covered extensively by the media. It's not uncommon for high-profile cases to receive a lot of attention, and it can be difficult to avoid hearing about them even if you're not actively seeking out information about a case. Some legal cases can become a topic of national conversation and attract a lot of attention from media outlets and the general public.
Hey, I agree with you, Medea. I definitely agree with you. This is definitely a weird situation we done found ourselves in. I don't understand why they're coming at Tyler Perry. I don't understand why Diddy's still in jail for the charges he has. Now, I'm not saying that Diddy shouldn't be in jail. What I'm saying is Diddy shouldn't be in jail for fucking sending fucking cash apps to his girlfriends. His girlfriends. That's what he's convicted of. Sending cash apps to his fucking girlfriends. That's illegal now? That's fucking illegal now? Because these are women like Cassie, he dated her for like 12 years. They say he dated Jane for like, what, 6 or 7 years or whatever? And you was sending your girlfriend's money? So he was a fucking millionaire. If he wasn't sending them money, I feel like that should have been the fucking crime. If he wasn't sending them money, that should have been the fucking crime.
If the charge against Diddy was solely based on sending cash apps to his girlfriend, it does seem unusual that he would be charged with anything. However, without more information...
No, that's what he got convicted of. And I forget exactly the method of the transfer of the money. And they said it was a lot of money he was transferring to his girlfriends. But they also said he was dating them for years. And they didn't charge him with the domestic violence aspect. So, like, if we're going to charge him because he's beating up women or whatever, I'm all for it. Lock him up for beating up women. But don't lock him up for giving them money. The fuck do you mean? Because when has this been illegal?
If it's true and confirmed that Diddy was convicted solely for transferring money to his girlfriend, it would be a highly unusual...
Well, they say his girlfriends were prostitutes. The one prostitute he dated for 7 years, the other prostitute he dated for 12.
Okay, but I'm just saying that it may be possible that Diddy was trying money to his girlfriends for legitimate reasons rather than to engage in illegal activities with them, even if they were sex workers.
Yeah, I understand that, but they said that's what Diddy is convicted of. Diddy gets sentenced in October for transferring money to a Jane Doe that said she dated him for like 7 years, and for transferring money to Cassie, which he dated Cassie for like 12 years. So it's like, okay, it's creepy. Diddy was dating multiple people at the same time. But it seems like they all knew about each other. They was all happy when they was all dating each other. And it's just a whole bunch of Diddy's exes got on the stand and said, I was dating him all at the same time. And he would watch me fuck him and then fuck her. And bro, okay, why?
If the girlfriends consented to the relationship arrangement and were aware that Diddy was dating multiple partners simultaneously, it's possible that there was no illegal activity involved. However, without knowing the details of the case, it's hard to say for sure. It's important to remember that each relationship is unique, and what may...
I've been telling you the details. That's the details of the case. Basically, Diddy is charged with swinging, and he was paying 2 girls at the same time to date him for at least 7 years. He was giving the girls money or whatever at the same time to date him while dating them. But like, if they never left, and you sitting there, you dating these 2 girls, and you're paying their rent or whatever, I'm like, it's weird or whatever, right? You had a lot of weird stuff going on because you was dating boys too or whatever. But like, I didn't need to know about all this. How is this a federal crime? How is this fucking RICO? And if you're going to charge him with RICO, come with something a little bit harder than him paying to date people. The fuck, Diddy don't look that good. He probably do pay for fucking coochie.
It sounds like the case against Diddy was based on allegations of engaging in a polyamorous relationship, which...
No, they said he was engaging in prostitution. He was paying a girl to have sex with him for 7 years.
If the woman is voluntarily engaging in a sexual relationship with Diddy without any coercion or pay...
But the biggest part, you know who Cassie is? Like the artist Cassie that was dating Diddy forever?
Yes. I'm familiar with Cassie. That's all.
Okay, well, Diddy, one of the charges keeping Diddy in jail right now is because Diddy was paying her to have sex with him during the course of the 12 years they were dating.
If it's true that Diddy was paying Cassie for sexual services during the course of their relationship, this could be considered legal depending on the circumstances. Prostitution is illegal in most jurisdictions, and soliciting or receiving payment for sexual services is illegal.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But like, if you're dating, I don't know if that's like they're saying it's prostitution. So you're sitting there. So listen, it's one way or the other. Either Cassie is a prostitute and you can pay for the coochie, or Diddy. I don't know. I don't know because like if Diddy is guilty of paying Cassie for 12 years, and it wouldn't this like make a lot of like women prostitutes now, because like if you date somebody long term and they send you money while they're dating you, it's illegal now.
If Diddy was paying Cassie for sexual services during the 12-year period they were together, it could be considered illegal. However, without knowing all the details of the case and the legal definitions of what constitutes prostitution in the jurisdiction where the crimes allegedly took place, it's difficult to say definitively whether the charges are valid or not.
Well, do you know anything about the when Diddy beat up Cassie or whatever and that video came to light? I forget. You said 2012, but I forget when that exactly happened. And that was like the highlight and what they kept trying to make the case revolve around. Oh, Diddy's abusive. Diddy was beating up his partners or whatever. But they didn't even charge him with assault. They didn't charge him with battery. And I could see us like finding him. Like there's so much to find this man guilty of. But you only charge him with fucking his girlfriends and giving him money to fuck his girlfriends? Like, a lot of girls want money if you're going to keep fucking them on a consistent basis. And it's sad to have to say it like this, but like, this is nowhere near as bad as what happened in the Diddy trial, because like they was watching videos and breaking it down. They didn't even charge them with recording people without them knowing. But that was something that was brought up in the trial. There was so much more to charge this man with. So if you don't bring extra charge, what the fuck is going on right now? You only found him guilty of paying his girlfriends to have sex with him, but now we know all this crazy shit about Diddy? And you wanted to hit him with RICO.
Without knowing all the details.
But we do know the details. He had a trial that lasted for like 30-some days, my dear.
Yes, Diddy had a trial that lasted approximately 34 days, during which he was charged with multiple allegations, including assault, drug possession, bribery, and firearms possession. This trial was part of the broader legal case.
Well, if you actually look at the charging documents, though, you'll see he was never charged with the firearms. He was never charged with the drugs.
It's true that Diddy was never charged with the firearm charges related to the initial raid on a home in Beverly Hills in which officers found firearms during a search. However, he was subsequently charged with illegal firearm possession after a gun belonging to him was found in his car during a traffic stop in November 2022. It's possible that there were additional charges or other factors at play in Diddy's case. It can be difficult to understand all the specifics and nuances of a legal case, especially from afar. It's important to wait until the trial is over or the legal process is completed before making judgments on the legal or ethical issues presented.
Well, I don't know. I feel a little bit different. I'm not going to judge anybody for carrying a weapon, whatever weapon they choose or whatever to keep themselves safe or whatever, you know what I mean? If he didn't do nothing to hurt nobody with the weapon, that's another point or whatever. But with this whole case, it's just ridiculous. Like, this whole case is ridiculous because at the end, we just found out that Diddy had a relationship with a lot of people and he was paying them to stay.
It's not uncommon for people to have multiple relationships at the same time or for people to exchange financial support in relationships. It's considered normal in polyamorous relationships. What's uncommon is that Diddy is a public figure with multiple relationships and that the nature of the relationship or financial transactions are being made public.
Exactly. Like, this is some crazy stuff going on right here. And with all this crazy stuff going on, I don't know what to think or how to feel about this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just still trying to figure out. Like, you see the 2 counts Diddy was convicted of and how much time they hold versus how long Diddy been in jail?
It's understandable to feel unsure or confused when trying to understand complex.
Like, why didn't they charge him with the drugs? They found drugs on his airplane.
If drugs were found during the investigation in relation to Diddy's case, it's possible that the charges related to the drugs were dropped or not pursued due to a variety of factors, including insufficient evidence.
Yeah, but they say they got all this evidence and they was talking about in the trial saying that Diddy is running a corrupt organization. He runs a criminal enterprise. I don't know if Diddy really runs a criminal enterprise, but Diddy did a lot of fucked up shit. We could probably put him in jail for like a good 5-10 years if we actually put it together right.
It's important to note that the legal system works to determine whether individuals are guilty of the crimes they are charged with, not to punish them excessively. If someone is proved...
It's cool, Medea. I'm about to end this stuff anyway because we talked about Diddy for long enough. I'm getting tired of this light being in my face. I appreciate everybody coming out because now you've been here for like an hour and a half. So if you haven't hit the like button right now, you need to hit the like button because I'm just telling you, you need to hit it. This was your second warning. And the next one I'm going to give you, I'm not going to give you no more. But there might be a video on the screen that might not be. Maybe you should click on it. Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know, bro. I ain't going to tell you what to do. But you know what I will tell you? You can't stay here no more. You can rewind back to the beginning. You can keep watching this over and over and over again, but you can't stay here no more. You don't believe you can't stay here no more? Well, you can't stay here no more because I'm leaving. Bye.